put it in here just to show you. All right. Fine. Now, as I mentioned, Crew is primarily Python based, so I'm actually using Python based structures here and how it's set up. I'm importing the CrewAI, the crew, the process, the agent, the task. If I want to import other tools, I can do that. And I will have to do that in order to really kind of give them enough information to be able to work against. So let's just clean this up a little bit and let's walk through these and kind of really what they mean. And here's some best practices that I've found in particular. Now, if you think back to what we did over here, we defined what our agents are going to be doing. So here we have our agents are understanding, specifically, we have a researcher, a data analyst, and a writer. Very similar to the roles that we've had. We could go ahead and change these roles to match our own approach if we want to. I can just go ahead and call this a senior researcher. And I can go ahead and call this a data analyst. Actually, I'll leave that as data analyst and senior writer. Okay. Now, if you haven't done this before, what essentially is happening is behind the scenes of CrewAI is there's some prompt structures that are being set up. And in the newer version, you actually can have more control of the prompt structures. But it's basically setting up kind of what the system level instructions would be for that particular agent. Now, the success of this is going to really depend upon the types of language models that you bring into play, because the Crew without the language model is not going to really do anything because it can't. There's nothing, the LM is ultimately going to be the interpreter for all of the activities. And that means you can try a lot of different systems to be able to work with CrewAI. I'm going to actually import OS here just for now. This is just another import statement. And what this does is it's going to set up variables. Now you can put this in your environment. For this example, I'm just going to go ahead and use a local Llama instance. So I'm going to come out here and I should be able to find it. All right, so this is actually LM Studio. Now I'm going to diverge here for a little bit to kind of talk a little bit about LM Studio and what that is. So LM Studio is a self-contained LLM that you can run on your local system. There's a number of these systems that are available, and LM Studio and Llama are two that you can run directly on either your Windows, your Linux, or even on your Mac systems. It gives you access to a variety, and I mean a lot of models that you can potentially use for your language model applications. So here is LM Studio here, just to show you. You can download Llama B, and some of these are Llama 3 8B, which is the latest and greatest as of this recording. It's a very good local model. Or you can even search for other models out here, and there are a lot from everything. Now, I personally like to use Mixtral and Mistral, but I'm going to go ahead and use Llama 3 for this. And because I'm downloading this, I'm also going to go ahead and get probably a Phi model as well, which is a pretty lightweight model. Let's see here. Actually, we'll use Gemma, which is Google's new model. And you have to give that a little bit of time to download. Should go fairly quick on my system. And anyone can really do this part. That's the great thing about working with these local models. You don't necessarily have to spend the money on the GPT 4 Plus Premium account or Gemini Advanced, you can use a lot of these models, and they're highly, highly capable models. So it's going to take a second to load that into memory. Once that loads, we're just going to go ahead and test that model out real quick and see that it's actually recording correctly. Now, like I mentioned before, different models, especially when you're using them with CrewAI, are going to have different types of success rates, I've found. Models like Llama 3, Mistral tend to, in my experience, when you're using local, have better results. If you have the money and you're using OpenAI and these other tools, I highly recommend that you start out small first, because it's very hard to keep track of kind of the cost, because they get chatty sometimes between each other. And a way to mitigate this is using another tool called Langsmith. It's a really good tool, actually. I just started using it myself. But when you get into Langsmith, you can create an account, and from there, you can import really simple, like 3 lines into your CrewAI system, the API key, and you can track how the agents are talking back and forth between each other. This is really important because you need to sometimes debug, see what's going on, like why isn't the process finishing, or why are you getting an error of some sort. So it can really help you expedite that process of understanding the communication that's going on between the agents and the various language models that are involved. All right, let's go back to LM Studio. So it should now be loaded. I'm going to go ahead and start up a new chat. Close this window out. Hi, Llama. All right, so we have the model running. Now, if we look here, you can also do some other things inside of LM Studio, which I won't cover, but you can play with additional models and what's kind of coming next in the agentic space is people are swapping these models out and testing, LLM1, LLM2, LLM3, and you take and you run the same queries through those models, and then you take kind of the best output result. That's kind of where we're heading with some of this. As we're going to continue forward here this year, that's going to be a big thing which a lot of companies are investing in. If we look here, you can see that I have a local server instance. Okay, so I can go ahead and start my server, and just like that, now I have an API that's up and ready to use with my system.